And I like to trace a little bit the progress. And so I kind of went over some of your questions initially, where you kind of told me how um, it is a little challenging for you because you are a product of the Western and European values, right? So, and because the class that we, the discussion that we're having is mostly based on African-centered knowledge, education, wisdom, and things like that. Um, and they also matter to you, as like your ancestry and things like that. So, in the way you presented it to me was that uh, um, uh, ancestrally, your lineage, yes, you come from, your ancestors come from Africa, and your roots are there. But the reality of your ambient life, the reality of your everyday life is pretty much European. It's pretty much Western, because you were born there, you grew up there, and everything that you've been exposed to, maybe in your entire life so far, is pretty much European centered. So, and this then present, like not a dilemma, but a challenge for you, in terms of, you were saying, how do I come out of that and go back to the original? Uh, I'm not sure how you define original. What I assumed you meant was your roots, the original knowledge, that, civilization that started in Egypt, where your ancestors were. How do you come out of that whole European silly European system, Western system, and now go back to the where everything started, the original? So, was that the question? Was that what you meant? Yeah, 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 yeah. So, and this is not only you. The there are so many. Um, the whole thing comes down to, I don't want to call it identity crisis, but it's kind of like identity negotiation. You are negotiating your identity. Because I really want you to understand that concept. It's a big concept in academia. Identity negotiation. We all negotiate our identity in life. We are always permanently and constantly negotiating it, especially in the world where things are intricate now, interrelated. Things are crossing now with universalism and cross-culturalism and things like that. It becomes difficult to identify only as one thing or the other. We are like all hybrids in a way, cultural hybrid. I call myself a cultural hybrid now. Phenotypically, my appearance is black, and I have all the African features. I met a friend one day here in Taipei. He's an American old man who lived in Taipei for all his life, most of his life, and all that. He asked me where I was from. Usually I just tell people I'm from Africa, but I just wanted to see his reaction. I say, oh, I'm from San Francisco Bay Area. And he screamed, what? American. That's one layer. The second layer, yes, African American are American, but there's another layer there where in the universal subconscious, American is more like white, blue eyes, and blonde and stuff like that. So in a way, we are always negotiating that. I've had a lot of colleagues, African American colleagues there in the Bay Area. One in Richmond. She's helping young African American get off the street in Richmond. And she also told me, I'm not African American. I'm an American. My ancestors, my parents were born here and they were buried here. I was born here. I will be buried here. I have no other knowledge of anything else but American. So I'm a little bothered, to have to introduce myself, as an African American, and that predicate for me is a problem, because I don't feel like that. I don't know anything about Africa. I am an American. She says, and even some stars, some actresses. I don't know, I forgot the name of that one. Raven. She was a very big star. A Raven, yeah, she has a show, a sitcom called Raven, actually played in San Francisco. I was growing up in Cameroon watching it every day, and people were like, "What? At your age, you watch Raven?" Because they expect, this stereotype. Did they expect, little girl, little guy watch that? But for me, I was more curious about, I was not in America, I was still in Africa, so I was very admiring of American culture. So I was consuming everything that can give me an insight into the American culture. And for me, it was giving me like an insight about the everyday life of a regular American family, how they raise their kids, what their kids do every day, their friends, the kind of conflicts that they have and how they resolve them, and the kind of places they go, how they, what is school like there. For me, I was studying in a way. I was studying the culture through the movie. That's how I educated myself, trying to understand what it is like. So that was for me what was attracting me in the movie. Also looking at the Golden Gate Bridge, like wow, this is like heaven. Like the kind of African thing where, and that again, this chapter of today actually tells you, oh my gosh, things are life, everything is like interconnected. Like I go from one way and I can see how it puts me back to this chapter of today. How the European developed that kind of sense of self, self-image, and how they pervaded it through media like movies and literature and all that to make people like look like, wow, this is what I want to be, like that kind of thing. So that's how I studied a little bit the culture, and then I ended up going there and walking that Golden Bridge and all that. I didn't see anything change in my life. Yeah, of course, it opened my eyes in the world, but it wasn't the heaven I always dreamt of. So Raven, she was interviewed. I think Oprah Winfrey interviewed her. I was watching it, and she said, "No, I'm not American. I'm not an African American. I'm an American." And she was making her case. You can Google, find a video online. And what? Oh, good. Wow, good. Oprah was like, "What? You're gonna get some flags for that, So you're raising existential questions within the African American community, and you can extrapolate. You can, because I have my friend there, Taiwanese here. They went to study in America and felt like they're American in some way, and come back to Taiwan, and they're all confused because they're negotiating now their identity. Who am I now? Am I Taiwanese? Am I American? Who am I in that whole mess? So it's pretty universal, that kind of identity negotiation. Yeah. So it was shocking, for some people who are very much pro African centered, because there's a big class of African American who are very African centered because they find like that those are their roots, that is the truth of who they are, the truth that was taken away from them, and they were just assigned an identity, and were told who they are and what they should be, what they should believe, how they should be, and things like that. Only through education that you will have your eyes open to that. I'm not sure that my friend that I told you about, she doesn't really have a big education. The woman I was helping in Richmond, who said, I'm American. Raven, I don't know her level of education, but I don't want to blame that also, like say one is right, one is wrong. I don't want to pitch it that way, but it is a genuine concern. It is a genuine concern, like, why am I assigned this African American thing when I don't identify anything as African, and there could be many reasons why. One reason is because Africa is not something to be proud of, the way it's portrayed in the media and in some Western venues, because it's this symbol of poverty, misery, and everything. Who wants to be that? Who wants to be part of that? You see? So you want to belong to something bling bling and successful and everything. So American sounds much better than African. So I could look at their argument from that lens, but I could also look at it from a genuine feeling where like all I know is American. Why am I supposed to deny that experience? It's part of my experience, right? So I can now reject that and embrace something that I have never been exposed to. And then we go back to the Asili again, European Asili. Why have you not been exposed to that? Why are Europeans exposed to their history, from their ancestries and how things started for them, and all of their big thinkers and all the major issues that they dealt with, and who they are as European, and the values they brought to the world, and the discoveries, the technologies, the science, and all these things? Why are they then teaching that to their children? So things like that are very important to reflect on.